All right, everyone, this is going to be a very different episode of the Better Ideas podcast because I'm sitting in what we call Casper, the campervan, with my girlfriend, Sara.
Hello.
And I've been really excited to do an episode like this. So this is like, I'm not recording an intro or anything. It's kind of a little bit more raw, but it's because we're on the road right now. And we finally did it. Like, this is a huge milestone, basically. And I'm really excited to record this episode and really excited to finally record one with my girlfriend. So, yeah, I guess we're just going to get into kind of the whole idea of what we're doing here and just the experiences we've had thus far. And I'm just really happy to say that the van is still a little ways from done, but it's very comfortable to camp in, and it's been awesome. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, babe.
Hey. This is awesome. This is really exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Finally getting out on the road with the van and doing what we've been dreaming about doing for the past year and really getting into it.
Yeah. So I figured the first, we can just kind of go chronically. Is that how you'd say that?
I don't know.
Just
order,
go in order. Yeah.
From the start.
And just talk about like how we got into the idea of building a van or van life in general, or how we even heard about it and all that stuff. And
well, it started with you, for sure, in the band and that whole story. And
yeah. So the band, as anyone can hear in previous episodes, the band basically falls apart, and I had already bought a big old E350 club wagon van, and so
we were kind of just left with it.
Yeah, I guess, and we just wanted to figure out like something useful, and I don't know, we both always wanted to travel.
Yeah.
And I think that I realized as the band was breaking up that I was less concerned about how I traveled. I just wanted to travel. And now that I had this van, it just made sense to turn it into something that is comfortable to travel with. And, traveling's expensive for most people, so it would be way better to have something that you can live in and, for days or weeks at a time, and not have to like pay for hotels and all that.
It's actually quite comfy.
Yeah, it really is.
So far, yeah.
Yeah.
Really loving it.
The weather's been really helpful with that.
Yeah.
For sure. It's been great. But, yeah, so I guess that's kind of the first point is we got interested in van life. I don't really know how I made the connection.
Well, I think it really started as soon as the band broke up and we were kind of just, dealing with that and left with the van and what we were going to do with it. I mean, we talked about me traveling on the road with you when you guys toured, later down the road and stuff like that. And I think I kind of came up with the dream of us both traveling together after the band had kind of broken up and turning the vehicle into something that could really be useful for just the two of us on the road.
Yeah, that's true. Because initially I had ideas to like build bunk beds.
Oh,
and
yeah, I was going to
make
be
it
big.
more of a band type vehicle, and instead we have a full size bed and a bunch of storage, and I could you could still in theory go on tour with it or something, but
it can't sleep 5 guys and hold all of your music gear, but
I don't know. This is a lot nicer than some of the vans that 5 guys sleep in.
Definitely doesn't smell as sweaty.
Yeah,
so.
I guarantee that. I know that for sure, actually. So I want to get into the process of the build because we don't want to get into the nitty-gritty too much. And if anyone's interested, they can always shoot us a message or just, follow Casper the Campervan, because we have a bunch of the pictures we've been uploading, and we've been trying to create somewhat of a timeline on this whole process online and trying to keep people updated and in the loop. And it's been a lot of fun trying to create content and stuff like that too, because I feel like we're kind of looking at some of our favorite like YouTubers and like other van lifers and just even people who aren't van lifers, like vloggers and stuff, and kind of just taking a lot of good ideas and figuring out how to make our own really cool content. Which reminds me, we have the GoPro with us. So we've been recording a whole bunch, and like we were talking about earlier, we want to we basically want to do kind of a montage or a highlight or make some sort of video to illustrate or to put to this podcast. So if all goes as planned, you can also watch this on YouTube and you're going to see highlights from the trip.
Yeah.
But okay, sorry, I got on a tangent, but
back to the build.
Yeah, the build. So
I think really going into it, neither one of us really knew what we were doing. Clearly had no skills with carpentry or really DIY or anything that had to do with building with our hands. I mean, like, I'm not going to say we couldn't figure it out.
I got kicked out of shop class.
Yeah, you did.
So, yeah, I am no carpenter, but we just figured this out kind of as we go. I mean, I bought the van over a year ago, and it's sat for a while, and then we kind of did a few things here and there until up until recently we just kind of
full speed ahead.
Yeah, full speed ahead. Just buckled down and got a lot done. But so we started by, just taking an old van with 4 rows of seats and plastic and vinyl and all that, and we just ripped everything out except for the headliner, basically.
Yeah.
And then we put in a subfloor and walls and built some cabinetry and
bed frame.
Yeah, the bed frame is by far my favorite part. Like, as soon as the bed frame got put in, then it just felt like a living room, because I made it so that the bed frame can fold into a couch on, like, facing either direction, which is nice, and then it also lets us access all of our storage and stuff like that. So it's really cool. Yeah, but I don't know. It's cool that we were able to figure everything out, and I guess really we have to thank, like,
30 people.
Yeah, so many people, and that's a huge part of it, honestly, is that we had so much support, and we still do, and it's just incredible. Like, my grandma has been probably one of the biggest helps, like, as far as, like, just being out there and, like, telling us, like, all right, maybe you try this or that or whatever.
Figuring out how to do it. Like, we could come up with the ideas and what we wanted it to look like, but we didn't know how to do it. Like, we didn't know how to follow through on it. And she was really helpful with those kinds of things because she's super artsy and just DIY, and she's always working on different projects and things here and there. So she was definitely really good. And she was excited to do it, actually.
Yeah.
There were nights she told us that she couldn't sleep because she was up thinking about what to do with this on the van or what to do,
Yeah. So it's been really cool. And I mean, everybody has helped.
Dave.
Like, and your parents have, like, given us some gear and thrown in with some really good ideas on, like, the curtains. And, I mean, Will came out and helped for a day. You guys all know Will. So
Will's really good with his hands. He's really good getting in and doing those small details.
He's also a genius when it comes to, like, design. Like, not design, but, like, how things work. And so it's awesome to have his input on things and stuff like that.
He's pretty crafty himself. Hey, Will, how's it going?
Hey, Will. But and then your brother's gonna make those leather straps for the
those
leather
aren't
handles
done
for the
yet,
cabinet.
but that's coming.
Yeah. So I don't know. What's something that you, like, really picked up from this whole process? From the build.
Patience.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I really stressed small details on it. I wanted everything to look really good and really perfect, and I mean, there's a reason for that. I mean, you want things to look clean and neat, and especially when we're building it and we have no experience and things like that. I think I was just really focused on those kinds of things, but in the end, honestly, we're here and it's perfect and it's beautiful and I love being in it, and there's no small scratch on the wall or paint mark on the floor that I won't look at and remember exactly why it's there. So I think it was definitely hard for me to do, but we're here. So
yeah.
What about you?
I don't know. I think kind of like, because we talked about this whole episode earlier and, like, what we were going to say and stuff, and I feel like it was a lot more elaborate what I was thinking, but mainly just that, like, that we can do, like literally anything that we want to do as long as we have realistic expectations of like, okay, this is how we can do this, and this is how we can get this done. And I mean, it's I don't know. To me, it was just kind of it's been really affirming to see how people are so supportive, like, and they are helping us with ideas and stuff like that, and it just makes me feel like we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, and it feels really cool. And then I feel like that's been teaching me that if I really want something and I really go for it, then it'll just, like, I'll figure it out no matter what. Like, I want to travel. I don't have a ton of money. Okay, well, let's build something that we can live in
and
to where we
travel
can
with.
travel cheaply and still be comfortable and have a good time. And so I don't know. It's really cool. And that's something that I would like want to share with everybody, because I think that, you know, if you don't feel like you fit into like the normal lifestyle, like what, you know, the
9-to-5 job, or
if maybe you don't want to live in the suburbs right away, or you don't want to just like, you know, be stationary for a while. Some people just maybe don't want to be stationary, but they don't know that they can travel or that they can do things.
Well, I just think that a lot of people have those dreams and hopes, but see other people do it. And like, I mean, you see so many famous YouTubers or famous people on like social media that, and we seriously hear this on YouTube all the time. People only post the good things about the side of van life, you know, that people want to see.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah.
But
which is something we're trying not to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that
we're trying to be more like transparent about the struggles too.
Yeah.
But
I think that a lot of people look at van lifers though, and they think it's something that's like, oh my God, that's so crazy cool. I could never do that. You know, like that they're so famous and that they have this, I don't know.
Yeah, there's
unreachable
like if
status.
You look, especially on like Instagram, like because we follow a ton of van stuff. All you see are like the really attractive couples that come through.
People
like,
talk about this all the time. Yeah,
they do. It's like a popular topic amongst the like van life people and all that, which is like it's a cool niche community. But
the van life community.
Yeah,
Hashtag van life.
It's really cool. Hashtag van life. But yeah, that's totally true though. Like it is very much a struggle, and what you see on the internet is a very non-realistic expectation of what you're gonna experience. Like so far for us, at least, that's what it's been. Like we still get those highlight moments, or at least we have so far. But maybe I'm just stoked, like because honestly we have had a lot go wrong that we'll get into later. But I'm just so stoked. I'm on like a permanent high on this whole vacation. Like nothing can get in the way from me having fun unless the van breaks down. Knock on wood.
Oh, yep, that's real wood. Good job.
Real wood on the cabin that we built. But yeah, that's cool. So, okay, the next thing we were going to talk about is getting on the road, like leaving. So we built the van and we're...
well, okay, you got to slow down a little bit, because I think in these last, 2 weeks, you've been off for 2 weeks, Dakota's taken like a crazy amount of time off work.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so he's had all this free time, and we were really not really dragging our feet, but we were really only working on the van in our spare time. And, it was like here or there for 3-4 hours a night, maybe 2 to 3 times a week. And it was tough to get things done.
Yeah, it was a very slow moving process in the beginning.
I think that kind of discouraged us a little bit too. But
yeah, I did. In the beginning, I kind of thought it was never going to get done. And it was kind of frustrating for a little bit, especially when we were gutting it, like the very beginning, because that honestly was the hardest part, in my opinion. Like just getting all the seat belt. They
make it really hard to tear cars apart.
Yeah, they do. They make it really hard to take seat belts and seats out, which I understand because you want those to stay
important.
In. Yeah, but yeah, no, it was crazy. So yeah, I took off from the 7th to the 25th this month because some weird thing happened with the vacation at work, and I needed to use all of mine, and so I basically took off like almost half the month, and I just decided that I'm gonna work harder on this vacation in quotes than I normally do at my real job. So
which is awesome, because honestly we wouldn't even be here on this first trip if you hadn't taken all that time off and honestly busted your butt to get this done.
I'm really happy that it lined up the way that it did, for sure.
Yeah,
like it's awesome. And
very, very grateful for that.
Yeah, so I just spent like, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks, just every day doing something, trying to get something done. And we have it at the point now where it is comfortable. Like it's I wouldn't say it's like what you see on some, like we were talking about earlier, like Instagram and stuff like that, because it's not a high top. It's not a house. It's not a tiny house yet. It's on its way to becoming something a little more like that maybe, and a lot more comfortable. But right now it's like a really cool, like, I don't know, like camper tent type thing. Like,
Honestly, it's exactly what we want it to be.
yeah, no, it totally is. And I love it. And it's been awesome. It's been great. But yeah. So anyways, let's I'm just like,
we were talking,
butterflies, I'm like giddy because I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. I've been talking about this for so long. It's so cool to finally just be here.
So really though, I think what it was that made us get so much work done on the van is that I planned to take time off work, and it's a little bit harder for me to take time off work. So I had this extended weekend taken off at work for us to go on this trip, which we didn't have planned yet for a van that wasn't done yet.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
We kind of just decided we were going to go for it. We were going to try to get the van done, and we were just going to work as hard as we could until we can get it done. And
which is good. I enjoy deadlines sometimes.
Well,
so I feel like it's good motivation.
Yeah.
And so we did it. Yeah, we did. We kind of planned this when the van was in no way ready.
It was crunch time. Yeah. It was like, we got to go.
Yeah, I have to.
We're going
I have
on this
to get
trip.
out here every day while I'm off. Otherwise, this might not happen. And I was literally doing stuff the day before.
Yeah, we kind of cut it close, but we're here. I mean, and even further cutting it close is trying to pick where we were going.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, I don't know if America hasn't heard, but there was a hurricane or two. There's some severe weather, on the East Coast. And so we initially had planned to go just down to Oklahoma.
South into Oklahoma.
Yeah, and Natural Falls, is that what it was?
Yeah, Natural Falls State Park. It's right on the Oklahoma-Arkansas border. It was just a short drive, and it was a beautiful state park. So we'll definitely get there, but...
Yeah, but everywhere on that, literally, like diagonally half of the map, southeast, is all raining this weekend. And so we just decided, okay, because we want to stay within a somewhat of a short radius, because this is our first time out, and it is an older van, and I want to make sure that the motor is going to be solid and that we're going to be able to make it on that 8-hour, 12-hour drive next time.
Right.
So I went ahead and just said, all right, let's do like within a 3 to 4 hour radius. So the only other choice that we really thought was cool, because, we're kind of in the upper right corner of Kansas, so anywhere else is kind of Kansas. Like, we can go to Kansas or
Western Kansas, or
we can move
or
across
rainy Missouri.
Or Missouri, where it's probably raining.
But I think what really made us pick this destination is when you looked at the weather radar, literally only the northern part of Nebraska was, well, I guess we're still southern part of Nebraska, but north above Kansas was no rain and decent weather.
Yeah, and it looked really good. So, we just decided to look around north, and we looked all over the place. Like, it was kind of hard because it was a little last minute.
We searched for hours because, so we were leaving on a Thursday, and I believe we ended up booking our site like Tuesday night at midnight. So basically Wednesday morning, which was rough because I accidentally actually ended up booking the wrong dates. I booked it for Friday through Monday instead of Thursday through Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And we had to fix that real quick. But we ended up getting a site, and it's in the area that we wanted, at the state park that we wanted, and it's got some cool features, some cool things.
Yeah, so we're at Branched Oak. That's in Raymond, Nebraska, and I highly recommend it. I mean, I don't know, because we haven't been to a ton of campgrounds, honestly. So we are definitely like very new to this, and
newbies, yeah.
And really, kind of the long-term goal in this whole van adventure endeavor is to kind of go off-grid eventually. So it would be really cool to not have to be in a RV camp spot, because we are pretty close to other people, and it's cool because it's like a community out in the middle of nowhere, and everyone's super friendly and all that.
Yeah, but we stick out like a sore thumb in our little minivan. Well, it's not a minivan, but our little white van.
Yeah,
While
yeah.
everybody else has these like 40-foot campers and RVs and
Yeah, on the road, I feel
TVs and
huge driving this, but then when we get here, I'm just like, holy crap, we're tiny.
we don't look
There's
anything like
nothing.
anybody else.
Yeah.
But that's the cool thing about it. We're so unique out of this campground that like I feel like it attracts people to come by and say hi and stuff like that. But
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like is that what's next that we're...
No, we have to talk about our first night getting here into Ranch Oak because
yeah.
we left on a Thursday. It was a little bit later in the afternoon because I did have to work that morning. But with being such a short drive, we thought we could do it.
Yeah.
It was supposed to. So this is the worst part about it. Probably is driving here. It was supposed to start raining literally as soon as we were supposed to get into Raymond, Nebraska, and it didn't miss a beat. It started raining as soon as we pulled in, and we were still on the outskirts of town a little bit.
Yeah,
actually,
maybe like the last 10 or 20 minutes or so, I would say.
Yeah.
And
Just pouring rain, and all of a sudden, Dakota's like, "Oh my gosh, did my windshield wiper just break?" And it did.
Yeah. I don't know what my deal is with windshield wipers, actually, because this has been a problem. Almost every car I've owned has had windshield wiper issues. Like on my old Pontiac, it would just like flop off to the side and just like scratch the crap out of the side of my car. And then, so the van almost did that. It wasn't quite as bad, but yeah, we get into town. We're really close to the campsite.
Not even really town. Like literally when I say town, I mean like there's a few residential houses that we drove by on this backcountry road.
Went through town because we went through Lincoln.
We went through Lincoln and then into Raymond.
Yeah, and so we're kind of getting out of town to the campsite, and it just starts pouring. Like the windshield wipers aren't great already in the van because it's so old that, like, you just can't really see very far. So we're kind of driving slow, and then all of a sudden, the windshield wiper just kind of like popped out of the little ring that it goes in that holds it. It's got like a little rod that just clips on, and it just like bent sideways, and it's just like not really working. And so we have to pull over, and we find this really cool like vintage gas station.
It was not even like a minute down the road after our wiper broke. It was like right there.
Yeah, it just happened. We're like, oh, we got to pull over. Oh, look
that one's covered.
Conveniently, like just out in the middle of nowhere, like this like big gazebo like cover thing with like those.
It's a good thing it was daylight because.
Yeah, we wouldn't have even seen it.
Yeah.
And it was like a little tiny, like
it was cute.
Family-owned, like.
Well, it was a self-serve gas station, so it had like the really old school pumps, and just really antique-y looking, and it had like quarter slots on the outside. They still asked you to pay inside, of course, but it was really cool looking.
Yeah, it was cool. So that kind of sucked, but it led to, it was cool. I did get drenched though because I like kind of stepped out and leaned over the window to try to fix it, and I ended up getting it pretty fixed. I think it's good now. It hasn't done it since. So.
No, yeah, it was pretty solid when we left and drove into the campground. So,
but I did I got soaked in the process and had to change my shirt. But luckily, we have plenty. So
we have all of our clothes right here with us.
We got quite a bit of clothes. So that's only the first of our, I would say, technical difficulties on this trip.
So much fun.
Yeah. I feel like we were saying earlier, we're going to be transparent and just talk about all of the problems first. We'll get to the cool stuff. But, so I guess what was the next thing after?
So we left that little self-serve gas station, and we finally find the state park that we're supposed to be going to, like a couple of signs for it. And our GPS actually led us to the correct side of the lake, which was a godsend because I don't know if we would have found it. There's a couple of different campsites around here. Yeah. And it's a pretty big lake. So we ended up getting in. It was check-in time, I think, was at like 4 p.m. And I think we rolled in around 7. And there were all these booths set up for like you would stop and get like a permit or stop and do this and stop and do that. And every booth that we came to, there was nobody at. It was unattended. And we've never been to an RV site like
honestly,
this.
that's probably normal because we did get in late.
Yeah, no, I get it.
We're completely new to this, so we kind of have no idea what to do. Like, do we need a permit?
Well,
are we even allowed to pull in?
I'm almost positive, just going to say this on the real, I'm almost positive that we need a vehicle permit to be in the state park, and we currently don't have one. I think we have a permit for our site, like for us to rent this site.
Like we bought it. We did.
Yeah,
we paid online to have the site for a few days.
Pretty pretty sure we're supposed to have a vehicle permit as well.
But there's never been anyone there at those
No.
booths to give us or to help. Like, and we actually did. We talked to the camp hosts the other day, and they were not very talkative.
They're not friendly.
Everyone else is super cool, but
Yeah.
the people that work here, I just haven't heard much from them or seen too many of them.
Well, we asked them like where to get firewood. We didn't know where to get firewood.
Yeah.
And
And he said the marina.
we're like, oh, okay. But we didn't know like,
You're like,
even that
"Where's
there
that?"
was a marina at the time, actually.
Yeah, we look around and we're like, is there more? Like, is it on the other side of the lake or what? Like,
We were pretty lost for a minute there.
yeah. So, yeah, that was kind of an issue. And
We kind of just drove in, though. We kind of just went for it and drove in and drove around the campsite until we found our spot.
Yeah, which wasn't too much of an issue. They had a big map
That was
and all
easy.
that. So we get there, and I think it started pouring harder.
Yeah,
Like, it started raining harder when we got here.
started to rain a little bit harder. So we actually just pulled into the spot and didn't even have a chance to like get outside and look at anything. And it was kind of dark already. And it was just pouring rain. So we're kind of stuck in the van and we're getting things set up and we're doing this and we're doing that. And, you know, all of a sudden Dakota was putting Reflectix in the windows to get rid of the light. And all of a sudden he's like, oh no, there's a leak over here. And literally our roof was leaking. It was the first time we'd ever even been in the van. And it was leaking. And not only just one leak, it was leaking in more than one place because the headliner was wet. in a
Yeah,
few
like
spots.
along some of the edges. Yeah, there's a little bit of a, right where the roof kind of connects to the rest of the van, like near the windows, there's a little bit of a, I think, rusty spots where some water's getting in. And then the back door a little bit.
I think that was the
And-
seal, though.
Yeah,
on
just the
back
seal,
door.
which we're gonna fix because we plan on getting just new doors at some point. So yeah, that was probably, I would say, maybe one of the worst things that happened.
I mean, like,
But
on a scale of 1 to 10, I was probably like a 7 on like almost a freak out because it was leaking and there was
But,
nobody
yeah.
around. It was pouring rain. We didn't even have an umbrella on us. Neither one of
Yeah.
us had. I had a sweater with a hood, and Dakota had a hoodie. We had nothing.
we didn't, like, that was one thing. We did say we need to grab the umbrella multiple times, I think,
Yeah.
and then forgot. So that's on us. But like, I don't know. It wasn't that bad because it wasn't enough leaking to like actually hurt anything. Just get the curtains a tiny bit
No,
wet.
it got the
And-
headliner wet. It got the curtains wet, and we used a towel to like soak up some of the water from the headliner, so it didn't drip dry anywhere. But it was pretty scary for a minute. I thought all of a sudden
Yeah,
the roof was just going to be leaking all night or
Yeah.
something.
it's pretty crazy.
So we got
And-
that all figured out.
Yeah, and I haven't been driving this long enough to like know that there's leaks,
Oh,
or anything like
yeah.
that because it's never poured that hard.
Well, and we've never
Well-
spent time in it while it's been raining.
Yeah,
So how would we know?
very true.
But yeah, we got that all figured out. The leaks finally. Well, the rain I think kind of let up a little bit.
Yeah, and I think it's solid point or good to note that we were like one of the only vehicles here on this side of the campground
Yeah.
initially. So
There
we
was
get
maybe
here,
like 4 or 5 RVs parked on that curve behind us, like back there.
yeah,
But we were like the only ones on this side of the curve, on this side of the street. So
yeah, and so we didn't really know what to do. So we just kind of pull in our spot, and we look. In my opinion, I feel like we look really sketchy because we're like this just like white like cargo looking van from the outside. Like it's just plain white. It just looks like a van. It does not look like a camper. And we just go and we pull into a spot and then we don't get out of the van. Like
yeah,
we just hang
stayed
out in
up
there
and-
because it's
right.
pouring and we're like, well, I guess we're not setting up camp tonight. So like we're just hanging out. And I would say that made it a little tricky because we do have Jax with us, which
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised we haven't mentioned already. Jax is in here with
because he's
us.
being so good.
He is. He's being really good
He's
right
just
now.
sleeping. I'm surprised he's not barking at people outside. But
Yeah, he's doing good. And so we're kind of on the first night we were just kind of cooped up a little bit all night, and it wasn't bad because we were just stoked that we were in the van, and
Yeah.
it was the first time I've ever even laid in the bed really. So like it was cool to get to experience like kind of just having to be stuck in it for a little bit. But it did help me realize that this is not something I do want to be stuck in for a very long time if it's not like super weather like
Yeah.
controlled and stuff. So that's good because that shows us where we can make improvements and where we can, make it more comfortable. So that's,
Mm-hmm.
noted. And we have a list going of all of the things that that we kind of want to work on, and some
Yeah.
improvements, which is cool. Like, it's a learning experience, and we're just figuring everything out as we go.
Mm-hmm.
But so I guess the next thing, what would it be, like taking Jax out?
Yeah,
That
we had
was the
been.
tricky.
I mean, what was it, like a 3.5 hour drive?
Yeah.
We had stopped once and let him out to go to the bathroom, but because it was pouring rain so hard when we got here, and the van was leaking, we were so concerned with that we didn't even take him out. So, I think Dakota was the one that pointed out that it had stopped raining a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, all right, the rain let up, so let's go out. And so I take him out, and I had to pee really bad too, because we had just drove like 3
Yeah.
hours. And so I tried to go pee under this tree, and Jax kind of like pulled me, and I almost slipped in the mud. It was a bad ordeal.
Fell in his own
Yeah.
puddle of pee.
Yeah. It would have been bad. But I mean, yeah, me and Jax take our potty breaks at the same time
Oh
all
my
the time. That's a pretty normal thing. But
That's weird. That's weird. They
but
really don't. I mean,
no, I mean
'cause
not at the house, but when you're outside, it's whatever. But yeah, so you came and helped me, and then
yeah, I
and
got
then we were
dressed and
good.
went out there, and yeah.
Yeah,
So we both got out of the van, and this was the first time that we'd been out of the van in our campground site, and we were just like, it was still raining, actually. It was like a misty, like, I don't even know, like drizzle, but we were still getting wet. And of course, like I said, we didn't have like jackets or umbrellas or nothing. So we're just out there with Jax, and all of a sudden we're like, okay, we should probably go back inside and get Jax's paws all cleaned up. And we dug on the door, and the door, it doesn't open, you know? We dug on it again, and it didn't open again. Oh my God, guys, we were locked out. We'd only been here for like not even 2 hours,
yeah.
and we locked ourselves out of our van.
Okay, yeah. So this should have, like, we should have known, but
Backstory.
yeah, we have a bit of a latch cable situation, which is getting worked on. Like I said earlier, new doors. So we have to open the side doors through one of the front doors to open it.
Basically, Dakota ghetto rigged it to where instead of using like the latch on the outside of the van, you have to reach your hand around to the inside of the van and pull on the rope, so it unlatches the door from the bottom and the top, and it will open.
Which I'm pretty proud of.
The handle on the outside is useless. It
Yeah.
does nothing.
Yeah. And so we go out that door that has the broken handle.
It's kind of our
to
front
let
door.
Jax
We'll
out.
call
Yeah,
our
it
front
is.
door.
It's like the front door, basically. Side front door. And yeah, and we shut it behind us. And, you know, Jax does his thing, and then we try to go back in, and we're like, no way. This is not happening. Like, this is not real. We are not locked out of our van in the middle of the night in Nebraska in the, like, a campground,
It was
almost
raining.
completely by
Neither one of us
ourselves.
had a phone. Not that we would have had service if
Yeah,
we
we
would
didn't
have had a
service.
phone.
Yeah, all
Like-
of our belongings were in the van.
Even
All I
everything.
had was clothes and his leash. Like, that's it. So we were stranded. But luckily, we had already popped the windows open.
Yeah, we popped the windows open.
And you have small hands, and you're able to. Hey, but the thing is, it didn't like register at first. So you like
No.
put your hand through and unlocked it. But for some reason, I still kind of assumed that door handle didn't work because the other one.
Now
didn't.
this was the
But
back door. Yes.
Yeah,
This,
on the back door.
I reached my hand in through the window on the back door and popped it open, like unlocked it. And I thought that I had to reach my hand all the way down and inside to the handle on the inside of the door to open it. For some
Yeah.
reason, I was
But-
like
so we were
trying
still like
way too hard.
this is I'm so embarrassed even talking about this because we're freaking out, and we were about to kill each other and we were about to freak out, and then I just like pull on the back door. I'm like, oh yeah, you already unlocked it.
It's open.
It's open. Like, let's just.
I was
climb
probably
in.
about to have a panic attack because that's when the panic really set in for
Yeah,
me.
no, I
we
was
had tried
about
all the
to-
windows, we had tried all the door handles, nothing was
Yeah.
working,
No,
and
and
I
there's-
was panicking.
I've bragged about how there's almost no way to break into this thing because none of the latches like work. Like,
Dakota was like,
I was
"Oh,
like
okay."
thinking, I'm like, all right, which window do I break?
Yep.
Which one? I'm glad I didn't break a window because, yeah. But man, that
It
was
was rough.
crazy. It was insane.
But again, after that experience, we both like looked at each other and we were dying laughing and we were like, I can't believe we just did that, but I'm still stoked to be here and I don't even care that we just stood outside in the rain for 10 minutes trying to get into our locked van.
Yeah, we've had a couple of like almost meltdown moments that have ultimately been like, I don't know, just
don't call
whatever.
them meltdown. That's a huge exaggeration. Okay. Meltdown. That was probably the worst panicky I'd gotten.
That's true.
And being locked out of your car is pretty big.
That's by far the most the most stressed I've been this whole time. The rest, this is the least stressed I've ever been traveling, to be honest.
It's great.
Just because
it's
we
awesome
have no plan. That's kind of my favorite thing about it is that we have there's nothing we have to do, or there's nowhere we have to be.
No, we don't even have to go like sightseeing. We don't have to go do all the things that people do around here. Like we can do literally what we want to do.
Yeah.
And that's what's so relaxing about it.
Yeah, which for us is a little bit of sightseeing, like walking around and
hiking.
Just seeing,
yeah. Well, and Jax needs some walks.
Yeah, and riding our longboards and chilling on the hammock and doing all kinds of cool stuff. There's this lake is beautiful, and yeah, we'll get to the cool stuff.
You're getting so far into yourself.
I know, I always do.
We were locked out.
Yeah, and we got in.
Yeah, we got in the van. We got all cozy.
Yeah.
Dakota actually brought his laptop, and we brought a DVD, and we popped a DVD in, sat up, hung out for the night. But kind of like the next struggle, well, not even really struggle, it was just a little new, was the storm was still going on outside, and we were still trying to sleep. Like, we were still worried about leaks and rain getting us wet at night, and it was just really loud. And
yeah. But we were still just so stoked, so it didn't matter. We just slept. Yeah. I slept like a baby, honestly. Except I think we may get a mattress topper at some point. But
yeah, no, the mattress is great. What it is, it's great. But like, yeah, I think when we both sleep on it, I can feel the wood underneath, like the frame.
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, not too bad. Definitely comfortable for, being that you're in a vehicle.
Yeah, sleeping in the van was great. I mean, we don't have like AC or any like running, I don't know, like cooling system. We only have this little fan that runs off of like D6 batteries, and it's actually been great because the weather's been so nice outside. But
yeah, which is kind of another reason that we like had to go this weekend, because it's like the perfect weather, and we're kind of still working on figuring out the whole AC situation, because there's a lot of different options and a lot of different routes that we could go and that we're thinking about going. So that's a whole other thing, whole other rabbit hole. But yeah, so we make it through the storm, and then the next morning we wake up and we decide we're gonna go look for a booth or for somebody that can make sure that we have a permit. I was still whatever,
this was I was really pressing this issue because I was still a little freaked out about the vehicle permit, which we still currently don't have.
Yeah.
But so I was like, okay,
Not
we need to set
anymore.
No. We need to I'm good. I mean, like, it's been 2 days.
Yeah.
We set an alarm, and we were gonna get up a little earlier the next morning and go down to the front of the campsite, and we were gonna see if we needed anything else or if we were good to go. And it was actually like our first day being here, like, because it was daytime, and we had to like pull all the curtains out of the windows and reflectix, and it was bright and early. It was 9 a.m. and Dakota's not a morning person, and he popped right up and out of bed that morning. And I honestly think it was just because you were so excited that we were here and that we were just doing something. So you got out of bed really easy.
Yeah.
But again, we're new at this, and there were some things that we forgot to do.
The main one.
So
yeah, we forgot to pull out the power cord. Yeah. Okay. So last night I plugged in a power cord, like a standard RV outlet, so that we had electricity in here, and I forgot to take it out, and that's totally my bad. And I broke we just drove off.
We hopped in the van, started it, drove off.
Drove off and just drug a 30-foot cable all over a campground and ripped it out of the little socket and broke the ground on it.
The RV site was fine. And the electrical outlet at the RV site is fine. We didn't damage it.
Yeah. Thankfully, we didn't break anything. And you can run an extension cord without a ground as long as you have a decent surge protector, and we're good. So we're fine. But
it was just a little embarrassing because the camp host was like following behind us in his little golf cart all the way up to the booth, and he was like, "Hey."
Yeah, I was like, we were turning around.
Yeah.
And so we go to the entry, the booth, and then we turn around and the cord just kind of whips around. He's like, "Hey, you're pulling a cord there."
You forget
like,
some.
"It's your first time?" Like, "Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, it is our first time we've ever."
Can you tell?
Yeah. Obviously. We're the only one in a van dragging around an orange cable.
I mean, whatever. We were done with all that embarrassment.
Yeah.
We could have wrapped up the cord and got back in the van. There was still nobody at the booth, by the way, for a vehicle permit. There was nobody there again. But
yeah.
So at that point in time,
we'll just go back to our spot and set up.
We were done.
Yeah, and so that was probably one of my favorite parts so far. Just getting to try out, like a lot of people probably saw on the Instagram stories and stuff that we've been doing lately. That we've
if you follow the Casper page.
Yeah, and even my personal and yours sometimes, we've been making trips to REI and made some shopping trips recently to get all this cool gear that we've been kind of saving up for, been really doing our research on and figuring out what exactly we need and what we don't need. It's a very kind of minimalist challenge because we have to fit all the essentials plus we're doing a podcast, and kind of the whole idea behind van life also, or one of the many ideas is to be able to do mobile podcasting. So this is the first, I guess, official mobile podcast. I've drove to Kansas City once, but this is.
That wasn't mobile because you got out and did it in a studio.
Yeah, exactly. This is the first one in the van for sure, and this is really cool. So. So we had to really figure out what we need, and we got this really cool grill, we got a canopy, we got some chairs, we got some of the typical camping stuff, and so we set up, and it was awesome.
Maybe not so typical though, because everyone else has their RVs out, but so we bought this 10x10 canopy with a mosquito net around it, and we decided it would just be a good kind of an outdoor living space for us because the van is so small on the inside that we can, be in here and enjoy company with each other and lay in a bed or sit on this stool or whatever and still be comfortable.
Yeah.
But the main reason, for camping and doing this kind of thing is just to be outside and enjoy the outdoors. That's what I love. I love being outside. It's my favorite place to be. So being out there in the canopy with a mosquito net just because it's an added bonus. I think Dakota sprayed bug spray on 30 times.
Yeah, it's bad. They love
one day.
They love my blood. It's ridiculous.
But it was still just really nice setting up outside, despite the bugs or, whatever it was, just being out. And kind of after we got everything set up and, we put our table up, we put the canopy up, and we made it so the canopy could let our van doors open directly into it, and we got everything set up, and we just sat down and looked around and looked at everything, and we were really pleased with how well that everything had turned out for us.
It really, seriously, that was just kind of that breath of fresh air moment. We did it.
Yeah, we're here.
We the canopy worked. It didn't break one of those Amazon reviews said it would, or and it just happened to kind of fit right up next to the doors really well, and we got our little table out and set Jax up on his chain, and I don't know, it just made it feel like home. We got this really cool little Bluetooth speaker, and we've been just listening to music and spending a lot of quality time together, just hanging out, and
it's been great.
Yeah, just talking and not worrying about anything other than what are we gonna do here in a little bit, or what do we want to eat for lunch or dinner, or which we kind of packed already. So it's what of the 5 options do we want? What sounds good?
Yeah,
but I'm happy with our options. I mean, I'll pack them. So
yeah.
Sorry, I'm messing with the lights.
No, I think I heard more fireworks.
Oh, really?
It sounded like there were more popping noises outside.
I hope those are fireworks.
I'm pretty sure they're fireworks.
They've got to be.
But I still don't think it's okay for fireworks to be at a state park. I would feel like that would be a rule.
I'm assuming, especially because it's not in July.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that'll be picked up in the mics at all. But so yeah, we get it. We did it. Like we that is a milestone for us.
Yeah.
We set up camp kind of for the first time ever, especially as a couple. Like, yeah, obviously we've been camping growing up and stuff before, but this is the first time that we've ever done it with our project. This is our thing, and this is kind of our life. This is the life that we're building together, and it's the beginning of, I believe, something really awesome, you know, and it's only going to get more and more awesome from here. And I'm so excited for that. And so I guess that's a good segue into kind of the good stuff, you know, the not so
we're
stressful
done with all that stressful stuff. Now that we had our camp set up and we kind of felt like we were a little bit more, I don't know, not even experienced, because we hadn't even been here for 24 hours, but like we felt like we had it, you know, we had our camp set up and we were, you know, set, and we ate lunch and we were just hanging out, and I think we were in the process of cooking lunch, actually.
I think we had just finished, because I remember we set our food down.
Yeah. And we actually met some of our neighbors, some of our camping neighbors. They had just pulled into camp and they got all their stuff set out, and we had just finished making lunch, and honestly, they weren't even interested in meeting us. Let's be real here. They were interested in meeting Jax.
Yeah.
Because
that happens a lot.
Yeah. They walked over and the first thing they said was, "Is he friendly? Can I pet him?" Which is great, actually. We love dog people. We're huge dog people ourselves. And we were discussing with them later that night that I don't think there'll ever be a time in our lives where we don't have a dog. Like, dogs are awesome.
For sure.
Yes. We don't deserve dogs. Like,
we always appreciate meeting dog people.
Yeah.
And you know that because they introduce them, they want to know your dog's name before they want to know your name.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're meeting dog people, is they're like, "Hey, what's his name?" And they meet the dog, build a relationship with him. If the dog's cool, then they're like, "All right, I guess we'll have a conversation with the humans now."
We've literally had exchanges with people, like at the dog park and stuff, where we will like pet each other's dogs and we'll ask what the dog's name is, you know, and then we'll walk away from that conversation and we'll be like, I don't even think we talked to the person, like the owner once, you know,
unless it's about the dog.
Yeah,
like,
and that's pretty
so
typical, I think, for dog people.
I still don't know who owns Loki.
Loki the wolf dog?
Yeah.
Oh, he's
no, the other Loki, the one we meet at the dog park.
Oh yeah, Loki's Jax's
like
old friend.
Yeah, I don't know the owners' names, but every time I see that dog, I'm like, hey, it's Jax's friend. Yeah. But yeah, so we meet. Their names were Mike and Amanda. And
Mike and Manda.
Well, she goes by Manda with her granddaughter, or step granddaughter, I guess. But yeah, so they came over, and it was Amanda first. She came and she wanted to just pet the dog, and then Mike came over and they just introduced themselves, and they were just super friendly. And you know, we just had a little bit of small talk, like kind of where are you from,
like,
and all that.
Like mind-blowingly friendly. It was really cool, though.
Yeah, it's so friendly that you asked if it was.
I don't know if you should say that out loud.
I'm gonna say this. This is hilarious. That you asked, like, is it racist against Canadians to ask if they were Canadian because they were so nice?
They really were, though. I mean, like, guys, okay, listen.
You're like, they must be Canadian.
So we were chatting with them, and they went to shake my hand, and I actually had just very recently cut my finger on Jax's harness.
Well, trying to make him not run out to her.
Yeah, but it looked like a more serious cut than it was, because this blood was like dripping down my finger, and I had a paper towel around it, and I like had to shake her hand with my left hand, and I was like, "I'm so sorry, I just cut my finger," and she was like, "Oh, do you have a first aid kit? We have one. Like, let me go grab it." And I was like, "Oh, we brought one.
Yeah.
We're covered there." And then that just started it. Like, they offered us, they were just so sweet, and
they offered everything. Like, they said, like, you got extra blankets.
We mentioned the leak that we had in our roof. He offered a tarp to cover the top of our roof with, just in case it rained again. Like,
food, ice for the cooler.
Yeah, it was
crazy. I mean,
crazy.
they're just like, you guys need anything? Because they knew it was our first trip. That was one of the first things we mentioned. And
yeah, because we did talk to them about it being our first time out.
And they were just seemed super helpful. So we just go back to our campsite, and we just, we're like, oh, that's nice. Maybe we'll talk to them some more. And, so I guess we just kind of hung out. We finished our lunch and just hung out for a little bit. And then I think we had kind of just gotten our fire going.
Yeah, we started a fire. We had s'mores. That's what we did.
Yeah.
We made s'mores with Reese's instead of just Hershey's chocolate.
Game changer.
BT dubs. Everybody go try it right now.
Yeah,
it's great.
If you've never done a Reese's s'more, then you haven't done s'mores properly. I'd say that's the proper way to do s'mores now.
Well, yeah.
Like,
I mean, like, Hershey's
you're,
chocolate is pretty classic, but like throwing peanut butter into the mix, peanut butter and chocolate is such a classic thing too.
yeah.
So,
But I don't know.
ugh,
I've never done it.
delicious.
I don't know why I waited 23 years to try a Reese's on a s'more. But
Too
yeah.
bad we're out of Reese's.
Anyways, we don't s'more tangent.
It's more.
So we were hanging out by the fire, and Amanda comes over again.
Yeah.
And she says, "Hey, you guys old enough to drink?"
Okay,
Or,
but I mean, like, we look like babies, though. I do, anyways. I look like a child, especially on this camping trip. I didn't bring like makeup. Why? We're out in the woods. Like, I don't need, and so I look like a child.
You look kind of young, and people
I do.
sometimes.
And my hair
pretty
was up, I'm
often,
pretty sure.
Yeah, we're like, "Wait, you're 23? What?"
Yeah, she was like, "So, are you guys like old enough to drink?" And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh yeah, we're 23." So she offered us to come over to their campsite and take some fireball shots with them.
Mm-hmm. Which I don't think you're technically supposed to have alcohol here, but
Oh no,
it's
not up
like,
to state park either.
I think it's just on the down low, which is
I just think that there's nobody here running the place.
yeah. There's no staff. It seems like, except for the
And the
marina.
hosts don't care. The
Yeah.
campground hosts, they don't
They
care.
drove a golf cart across the parking lot to go to the bathroom.
God, it was like less than 100 feet though.
It was. It truly cracked me up. Like, man, that's the life right there.
Yeah. Just
Hashtag goals.
goals.
I want to get in a golf cart to go to the bathroom. Like,
No, maybe not so much.
no, I'm just kidding. I don't want to do that.
No.
I'd rather walk like 50 feet. But
Anyways, we went over to their campsite and they gave us what they were like individual shot bottles of Fireball. They didn't like pour us shots. It was so cute though because Mike, Amanda's husband, toasted us because he had remembered that we said it was our first time out with the van, and
yeah.
he wanted to initiate it kind of and toasted us. And
Yeah, it seems like they kind of just wanted to make sure that we had a good first night, no matter what.
yeah,
Like he did. He was like, "I want to toast to you guys, and your first time out. I think it's really cool that you're young and doing stuff." And they were just so complimentary, and then we ended up hanging out there for like 2 hours.
yeah,
and,
we did. They had a
and-
fire going, and they seemed like super dog people because they got Jack's a water bowl out while we were hanging out, and
yeah,
we were just comfortable over there hanging out. And
Mike offered a couple beers, and
yeah,
they got you some water, and
we just talked
and-
van life, honestly.
yeah, and just constantly offering stuff and just being super hospitable. And that was like one thing that I've just kind of always hoped would happen with the van trip, and like that was just so surreal. It like almost made me tear up when it was happening because I was just like,
Oh, but you
Like-
know what the best part was?
"What?"
They offered to let us use their bathroom
Yeah.
inside their RV.
I didn't take them up on that, but you did.
I
and
did.
Was it nice?
Yeah, I mean, like,
I
because
actually
what
didn't
is
even
it
ask
like?
about the inside of their
What is it like?
camper.
I don't know.
The Patriot.
A walk. I mean, like it's like a 5-minute walk to the shower house where the restrooms are,
Yeah,
and they're not terrible
like a 2-minute
restrooms.
electric skateboard ride. But,
Yeah. The first time we went in the restrooms, they were pretty dirty, but the second time they were pretty clean.
Yeah.
So it's comfortable enough to go to the bathroom in, but their RV is like 20 feet away from us, guys. So I just used that
Yeah.
bathroom. It was great.
yeah.
It was so nice. Running
Yeah.
water, toilet.
Yeah, but I mean it was just a great night, like in general, and I'm like so thankful to have like on the first day, well, really the second day, just meet like some of the coolest people, and then like we'll probably talk to them at least a few more times before we leave.
Yeah, I'm actually been sitting here wondering if they're wondering where we're at.
Yeah, same.
They talk about
Like-
getting more Fireball. So,
Yeah, so
but that's just kind of what I hope for. And I think that's what we hope for in like the van life community is when we travel and we do these things that we not only are those kinds of people to others
totally
around us, but that like that's what we find out there and that's what we can experience too.
Yeah, totally. And it's such a good idea of like what you want to be like I want to be that hospitable, like whenever we're out meeting
Yeah.
people and
Maybe
just so
next time when we're
friendly
more
and-
prepared.
Yeah, when we have extra stuff to give away, but which we don't at the moment. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I guess just shout out to Mike and Amanda because I doubt they'll hear this unless we end up telling them about it at some point. But it's really cool, and it gives me kind of hope in humanity that one of the first places we came, we just happened to meet this couple that is just so friendly and
Yeah.
so helpful, and they just kind of, they were like one of the highlights of this whole trip for me so far, like meeting them. Like,
Yeah,
it really was.
It was
And
really special in itself, for sure.
So, yeah, I guess that almost leads us to
where we're at now.
Yeah, where we're at now. So I feel like we're, maybe getting to the end of this ride.
The ride. Wow.
With Casper and the 3-man wolf pack.
Yes. Let's just
Patent
end it there. Done.
Well, we got to shout out the social media and just, I don't know, is there anything else that we
didn't talk about future plans. I think that so really honestly, this is just our first time out and we have so much more learning to do, but I think that we've already learned a lot with this experience in itself. I mean, we've only been here for 2 nights.
Yeah.
But again, I think we've learned a lot and we've learned even some things that we want to upgrade on this build. And then I think that we've really, and we're probably getting ahead of ourselves here, but in the future, we definitely want to upgrade and get something bigger, probably something that allows us to be, standing full height in the van at all times.
So, something that is more like a tiny house on wheels, kind of like something you could potentially live in full time. We don't know for sure if that's on the table. Like, it is kind of a goal. It's like more of a pipe dream at this point. That, because as you all know, and obviously as Sarah knows, I'm a musician and I do podcasts and I have a lot of creative endeavors, and I would love to be able to figure out a way to sort of monetize some of that, or have multiple streams of income so that we could travel full time, so that we could do stuff like this a lot more. So this is, I know you don't like when I say test run, but it is. Because it's not a test run, because it's something we're experiencing now.
Casper
and no shame to Casper. Casper is not a test van, but it's a great learning experience to figure out kind of how all of this is going to work, so that maybe a few years down the road we'll upgrade and we'll get a van that you could live in full time, and maybe by then we will have figured out how to create a career around traveling, which is my ultimate goal, 100%. And
those are dreams. Those are some pretty big. I mean, this was a really big dream, but those are some pretty big dreams.
Yeah, but I mean, I've learned from doing this that
they're attainable.
They're obtainable. They're possible, and we can do it. We just have to figure out, what we can do tomorrow or today or next week to make it so that a few years down the road, our life looks the way that we want it to. Because we decided about when the band was breaking up, around a year ago, that we wanted to do this, and we're here. It's awesome. I couldn't be more stoked. And so, I guess whenever we decide, or I guess we've already kind of projected that we want to be doing this a lot more. And so
I mean,
without
a doubt, within probably the first, 24 or 48 hours of us being here, we're like, okay, I could do this all the time.
Yeah, seriously. And if we could figure out how somehow to, make a career to where this is just kind of part of it. We don't have to be like the van lifers on YouTube and have all the sponsorships and all that. That would be cool too, but I really think that we're going to figure out kind of our niche. We're going to figure out what
and the thing is
how this is all going to work in the future.
Well, the thing is we don't have to be so comparative. We don't have to compare ourselves to others, because
that's true.
We're unique in our own way, and this will be, like I've been saying this whole time, whatever we want it to be and whatever we think it should look like. And I mean, Casper's great, and I think it's gonna get a lot of really good traveling use, in the future. And we're definitely not done with Casper yet. Oh my God, this is the first road trip that we've taken in it. But in the future, I think that this is something that we see ourselves doing for a really long time. So we want to make it a little bit more comfortable to live in.
Yeah, totally. And I still want to play music, just either way. So that's just always, that's never going to go away, I don't think. I think maybe that's how if you're one of those people who's just an artist, doesn't feel like a choice. I have to do it. And so I'm going to do it. And this is just one step or a means to get to doing that and making that possible. So I'm really stoked for that too. Just a little side note. But this is awesome. And I'm really happy to have recorded a podcast with you finally.
Yeah, it was great.
And
I had fun doing it.
I think we should, I don't know, I guess depending on if you guys listening enjoy this, we can do this a lot more often because
Yeah.
I do want to have guests on the show because I plan on using the van to travel to record podcasts and stuff like that with all kinds of different guests all over America now. But, you know, sometimes it is just going to be me and you and like, let's, I don't know, if you're having fun and you want to keep doing this, then we should like, maybe we can just talk more about like what it's like traveling in a van
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
doing all this. And
I mean, like, of course, if you guys even like listening to me,
Yeah.
I mean,
they'll love you. I know it.
it's okay if you don't. No, I'm kidding.
I don't
But
know.
really though, like if this is something that you guys like listening to or that we have no idea what this is going to turn into or, you know.
Yeah,
but
it's so true. But it's awesome.
yeah, it's here. And I think that we will do this again in the
Cool.
future.
So I guess you can follow both of us on, you know, just our personal pages, or what we would probably both recommend highly would just be to follow Casper the campervan on Instagram.
Yay.
For these travels and these types of adventures, if that's what you're interested. If not, then just follow Better Ideas on Twitter, Facebook, or patreon.com/Better Ideas if you want to give monetarily. And I think that's about it.
Yeah.
So, thanks for doing this, babe.
Thanks for having me.
Love you.
Love.